Camera. Oh, wait, hold on.
There we go.
Okay. Sorry, was I go? We're trying to fix the camera. Okay. Wow, look how clear that is.
Crystal.
Yeah.
Crystal clear.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Nerdkave podcast. We'll be right with you. All right.
Just going to share it real quick.
Let's see. Share. Copy link. And paste. Post. All right. Then I have to monitor the stream. Turn you down. There we go.
All right.
Get my topics up here. All right. Oof. Gotta sit.
All right.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Nerdkave podcast. We're live. It's been a couple weeks since we've been live. I think last week we just made a video. But this week we got tons to talk about. So first and foremost, do you want to start us off with Antman 3?
Yes. So we're going to do a no spoilers review of it because Miles hasn't seen it yet. I just got out of seeing it like half an hour ago. So Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, Ant-Man 3. There was a lot of things that I saw about this movie. A lot of people that I follow in terms of reviews were saying that it wasn't their favorite Marvel movie, that, it just wasn't it for some of them. And I don't base my opinion off of theirs, but I usually align with them pretty close. However, I got out of this movie and I'm kind of like, did we watch the same movie? Because I really enjoyed Ant-Man 3. I think there were, as with any movie, there's some things that I would have liked to have been added. Some things where it's like, okay, like I get it, whatever. But no, for the most part, really cool vibe. I think how I just described it to Miles, it had kind of like a Marvel meets Star Wars kind of feel to it, which I really appreciated. I think it was a great first movie for Phase 5. And it really sets up kind of where we're going to be moving with the MCU, but it also stays very much an Ant-Man and Ant-Man, related character movie, which I really appreciate. So I would say, I always have a hard time ranking movies. I would say right now I'd probably give it like a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
Just because I think it is a really solid movie, but at the same time, it's not for me personally at the level of like Endgame or Infinity War or, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Right.
Super solid movie. I don't know why it's getting the reviews it's getting. Currently, I think it's like 48% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it should at least be in the like mid to high 70s. But I would recommend you go see it.
Okay.
I would say don't listen to the reviews. Go watch it, form your own opinion. Agree with them, disagree with them.
Yeah,
I liked it a lot.
I stayed away from the reviews on this one because I enjoyed the last two Ant-Man movies, so I was looking forward to this one. So I kind of was like, I'm going to go in, watch it without like it being spoiled, or I didn't want to go online and see what people were saying about it. So I'll take the time to go watch this one. I'm excited for it. I heard good things. I did hear like good things when the movie was like the trailers and stuff were happening. So I didn't, I didn't know. There wasn't really like a big expectation for me anyway that they had to like blow it out of the park or anything, but I was excited for it. So because I enjoy those characters. So
I think they did a really good job with it. And maybe like next week, if you have a chance to see it before
I'll try to see
Friday,
it this week.
We can do like an in-depth spoiler review because I do think there's a lot to kind of unpack from the movie. And a lot of like theorizing things that we could do. So that'll be fun. But Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, I give it 2 thumbs up.
Okay. Was there any more Marvel news besides that you heard of this week?
I think we touched upon it a little bit, but one of the characters from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Quake, Daisy, we talked about this a little bit in our video that we did, how she is rumored to be coming back for Secret Invasion.
Okay.
And there were some more details that came out. This is potential spoiler territory, so I don't know. Is this something you're wanting to Okay, so it is being said, and for anybody who's wanting to watch Secret Invasion and wants to avoid potential spoilers, again, nothing's confirmed, but maybe just wait a couple of minutes and then hop back into the podcast or skip ahead. But it's being said that she's going to make an appearance in an episode, I think one of the 6 episodes, and it's going to be kind of like an extended or elongated cameo appearance, and then it's going to set her up for reappearing in the MCU.
Okay.
So sounds perfect to me.
Interesting.
I love that character so much. Chloe Bennett is a great actress. And they bring her back. Secret Invasion will already be my favorite Marvel property of the year because I love those characters so much.
Hope to, see that come to fruition when that comes out. So
yes.
Heck yeah, dude. All right. Moving on from Marvel, we got Joker 2.
Yes.
Joker 2. So we got the screenshot with Lady Gaga and what's the actor's name?
Do you want to get there? Or do you want me to tell you?
Joaquin Phoenix, sorry.
Yes.
And I don't know why I was working on his name, but I thought it was like a beautiful shot. Obviously, like they're really like this. The picture was like intimately, they're close to each other. So I don't know. I'm fascinated in the fact that we're getting a second movie in the first place.
Yeah.
Because it was like something I've been kind of like hoping for a while. I saw the first Joker movie like twice, and I really fell in love with that. Like Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, just like because he made that his character and he made it his own. There was one thing I heard on set about the movie was that like they didn't get enough bathroom breaks or something. I don't know what the deal with that was, but
yeah. I remember hearing about that too.
I was like, what do you mean? Bad, just whatever. But no. I heard, but I'm really excited for it. I was like, when I saw that picture, I was like, yes, finally, something from the movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I am. All that picture. I looked at it and just studied it for 5 minutes, like straight. It is such a good representation of, I think, what this movie will be and the kind of Joker and Harley relationship we're going to get.
Yeah.
And Grace Randolph of Beyond the Trailer, I think, said it best, where it's like in the first Suicide Squad movie, Joker and Harley in there were very much this kind of like high school lover kind of toxic couple thing. Yeah. And there were like vague hints as to like what their relationship's really like, but they didn't explore that, and it really made it seem like they're just kind of like, oh, Joker has a girlfriend, like that's the way Harley was written in there, even though in my opinion her character was a lot more interesting in that movie. But in this it looks like and I love Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, and I don't think it's necessarily her, but I do think Lady Gaga is really going to be a great Harley in the sense of the tone of the movie she'll be in. Like, I think for the Suicide Squad movies and Birds of Prey and all that, it had to fit into what they had established with the DCEU. So it was like they kind of were boxed into what was already done. Whereas with the Joker movies, psychological, dark, kind of like you laugh at certain things you probably shouldn't laugh at, but it's just funny because it, situational humor and all that. And I think that being established in the first movie, along with the idea of Joker and Harley and him already seemingly having some sort of therapy possibly down the line, depending on what we see as fact and fiction, is because of Arthur's perspective changes. And there's just so many things they can do with this. And the photo itself is beautiful. Powerful. Yeah. The way he's kind of lit up to make it, kind of your attention initially kind of goes to him. And you kind of see his face, the makeup's all smudged, which I have so many questions about too. It's like, does that happen before the final scene in the first movie, after he's brought into Arkham? Is this something where he gets the makeup again? And I could go on for so long about that. But then you look at Lady Gaga's Harley, and she has the bloody nose, which I think is going to, it's, showing the true relationship between Joker and Harley, which is incredibly toxic, abusive, mentally manipulative, broken relationship, which is how it should be. And so you see the bloody nose, and the look on her face, I think, is incredible because she looks both like on the brink of being terrified and in awe at the same time. And like, that's exactly like, that is perfect. So I am so excited for that movie. Like, I've seen the first one too many times. And this one, I feel like, just with little things I've heard about it, which I won't get into because I feel like it does kind of cross into like spoiler territory. But if they're true, like, this is going to be something spectacular. And I fully trust Todd Phillips. And the fact that Joaquin Phoenix came back says a lot to me, because he initially said when the first movie came out, he's like, oh, I don't really like doing sequels, but if it's a story I feel like truly needs to be told or is truly unique, then I'll consider coming back. The fact that he came back tells me already that
he was like committed. And like,
so I am stoked. So excited for it.
Obviously the script was good enough for him to come back. So it was no, I was excited for it. I know that they'll probably do a phenomenal job. Joaquin Phoenix, he's a great like method actor and sort of like can do things on the fly. Like, you remember the refrigerator scene in the first movie where that was all improvised, and it was like he just did that because he thought of it, and it was just like that turned out so well for that scene. It was just like, if we get more of that in this movie too, it's like, it's great. I just like to see certain like people out of their element a little bit. Joaquin Phoenix was Hangover guy, and then you had Lady Gaga, the pop singer and stuff, and now coming into this movie. Now I'm still curious on if it is going to be a musical. I think it is.
I believe it's going to. I don't think it's going to be like a full out
musical,
outright like Broadway musical kind of thing. I think it's going to have musical elements.
We got Lady Gaga in there.
Yeah, I mean, they'll have to have her sing at some point in time. And something I thought of also that I forgot to mention is I was really wondering, because you don't really see in the first movie a whole lot of Arthur Fleck manipulating people. And I was like, okay, how are they going to do this kind of thing? Whereas, because the Joker it happened a little bit in the first Suicide Squad movie, but he, kind of starts to, get Harley to do things for him, have like the love kind of thing, that she falls into. And I was like, how are they going to do that with Joaquin's Joker? Because I didn't really get glimpses of that in the first movie. But then I thought about it more, and I'm like, okay, that train scene, where he puts on the mask, incredible at manipulating. And then kind of the control that, or like, I think at that end scene when the ambulance crashes into the cop car and they lay him on the car, and he, does this whole thing, and he has that crowd there. I think that is kind of the stepping stone for him understanding the influence he can have on people. And then we already know that the kind of romance thing is on his mind. So I really think this movie unintentionally laid the perfect groundwork for how this style of Joker can fall into kind of like that aspect of the character. So I'm so excited for that movie.
I think like the cool thing about it, is like taking those elements from that first movie, bringing it up to the second movie. I just like the fact that it was like an uprising thing at the end, where it was like all the poor people in Arkham, and it was like they're rising up against the government or like the people in charge of that city. So it was like, oh, they have a motive here. You're seeing motive of what they're doing. Yeah. So it made you kind of empathize with it a little bit more. That's why I kind of empathized with his Joker a lot, because I was like, oh, like I see where he's coming from with this, regardless of like a lot of people. I remember when the movie first came out and people were thinking like, was this all a dream? Was this all in his head? Was this like actually happening, but certain elements in the movie a dream? I remember all that stuff, and people had theories and like what was actually happening and stuff. So like, like I'm curious on like what story they're trying to tell, and hopefully we'll get a lot of answers in the second movie here. So
and what you just said kind of made me think of a possible theory with Harley. And I almost wonder if they're going to go the route where like she sees him on TV, and because of the first movie, we know with the one worker at Arkham, when she's like, they don't give a shit about you, they don't care about me, that like that whole system is already broken. So maybe Dr. Harleen Quinzel really likes helping people, but she also feels that the system is so broken. So maybe she, before Arthur even arrives to Arkham, knows about him, or maybe she sees, maybe we get a shot of her seeing like the uprising thing at the end on the TV, and that's where her interest sparks. So maybe she already kind of has that empathy with him and the kind of cause that he was going for. But then she's, maybe the psychologist trying to tell him like, hey, don't like kill people, but like your ideas are right. And then maybe he uses that to flip it on her and kind of slowly get her in the whole like, oh no, that you're going to do what I tell you to kind of thing.
Yeah, I like that.
So there's so many ways it could go about this movie.
Because it's like, it'll probably surprise us because you don't know which way it's going to go.
Yeah.
Because there's like, all right, the first movie ended in this way. Pretty much the first movie ended pretty open-ended to where like it didn't leave us off at a cliffhanger. It just kind of left us with Joker just kind of running around the hospital or whatever.
I have so many questions about that. Like, was that real?
Was that, yeah.
That's what's great. So one of the main aspects of like Joker comics that it has been widely adopted, but I think it started with The Killing Joke. There's a line in there where the Joker says, if I have a past, I prefer it to be multiple choice. So they clearly took that as an inspiration for the first Joker movie. And I love that because we don't really know what anything is. So you kind of just enjoy the movie for all that it shows that it tells you it could possibly be. And with the second one, it just, if they expand on that even more, I think there's so many different routes they can go down. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Yep, looking forward to it. So for going from the Joker, we got I think it's the Flash,
the Miller.
The Miller. So Super Bowl Sunday, we saw the trailer for the Flash movie, and we saw the Miller in there, and we saw Batman.
We saw multiple Millers.
Yeah, we saw multiple Millers. Oh man.
One wasn't enough.
No.
So DC said, hey, let's give you two.
Let's give us two. So this is going to be interesting. I was really surprised they released a trailer on Super Bowl Sunday. I know like they're trying to, I think we're just trying to get as much as they can off of this movie.
Yeah.
And it was like Ezra Miller, very controversial character. He's always on this podcast. We talk about him all the time. But like, it's just interesting that like they pushed it. Like I was very surprised they pushed it as far as they did. I was like, they showed Ezra quite a bit in that trailer too.
They showed him a lot.
Yeah, I was like, huh.
Yeah, well, because like in the poster and all that, you don't see him really. I think they did put out like a character poster of him after the trailer, but in the first initial poster, it's like you have the Batwing or the Batplane, whatever they're gonna call it, kind of above him. Then there's like a broken city or something, and then it's just like the back of him. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, they're going to kind of, I think what we talked about, like they're going to hide him as much as they can. But then the trailer comes out and they're like, here's Ezra Miller, here's another Ezra Miller.
Yep.
Lots of Ezra Millers.
Cloned Ezra Miller. Yep.
Yeah. So it's like, okay. I think they're just gonna kind of.
Well, what did you think when you first saw the trailer? Were you like excited for it, or were you like?
So I was really conflicted because I'm not a fan of the Miller, even though I love talking. I'm a fan of bringing him up on the podcast, but as a person, just with everything we've heard, I think he has things, and we talked about this before, that he has things he's going through. He has things that he needs to deal with. Stuff needs to be figured out. Yeah. However, though, that trailer looked pretty damn good. I watched that and I was like, I should not be excited for this movie because of who's in it, but damn, am I excited for this movie.
Who's playing Batman again? I forget.
Michael Keaton. And then, well, there's two of them that we know of in the movie, Ben Affleck and then Michael Keaton. But I think Michael Keaton's probably going to be the main one since they showed him more.
Okay.
Yeah, multiple Batman. Supergirl looks good. Kara.
Oh, yeah.
Super excited to see her. I think the shots they gave us of her looked really good.
this is the problem. I think this is the movie that's going to establish the DC MCU, where it's like these are where all the stories are coming from.
Yeah.
It's very interesting that they chose this movie if they're doing it that way, where it's like, yes, Ezra Miller is very controversial, but don't worry about him. Let's focus on these other actors, which like I get. Like it's like this is. I think we kind of like prophesized this even in our early episodes of like how they're going to like maybe distance themselves. I don't even know if they're going to distance themselves at this point or not, because of like how open they're being with it, and like if these are the stories they're going to be telling from this like universe, like it's very interesting that they're doing it this way, I guess. But that's just my opinion.
Well, so James Gunn came out and said that they don't have, and this is assuming everything is being taken at face value of what he says. But to sum it up, he basically said that there's a chance Ezra could still be the Flash if he stays out of trouble and the whole court thing going on. And I don't even know if all the trials are over or whatever, but the one he just got like kind of a bare minimum sentence thing for. Yeah. He didn't get the 26 or 29 years or whatever.
Right.
So it's like that one, he pretty much checked that off.
Yeah. That was the big one, I think.
Yeah. So it's like, if that didn't really do anything, I don't know why Warner Brothers would, go ahead and fire him at this point, unless something bad comes out. Because then they're, taking away an actor who, like you said, so that's another thing. James Gunn straight up said in his DC announcement video, he's like, then we have The Flash, a fantastic movie that resets the entire DCEU.
Oh, no.
Or the entire DC universe.
Yeah.
So, like, he says it right there. Like, this movie is doing exactly what you just said. And it's like, what do you do with that?
Yeah. Because, like, I'm thinking, like, so Black Adam's dusted. What others?
James Gunn Thanos snap.
Yeah, it's like Black Adam's done. What was John Cena in? The Peacemaker. That's probably done.
That is continuing.
Is that continuing?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear about that. So Peacemaker's still around. Joker 2 is still part.
It's an so it's going to be an Elseworld Batman or Elseworld thing. So they're like on other Earths.
Okay,
I think is how they're
other
kind
Earths.
Of putting
okay.
It. Yeah.
And then so then in this one, this is where a lot of the stories are going to be kind of formed out of this movie.
Yeah, like this is the main timeline.
Okay, cool.
Is what it sounds like we're going to end up with.
Okay.
At the end of it.
Okay. Just curious, and so like, okay, I forget. I think we talked about it before. Are they making a Batman 2?
Yes,
they are. Okay, cool. Like
titled Batman Part 2 Batman Part 2.
Okay, all right. I was curious about that, like how much of this material, because I think we did talk about the cut pile that they were cutting a lot of stuff.
Yes,
and I totally forgot like all the stuff that they were cutting. But did we say Gotham Knights is returning too, or no?
Yes. I'm so confused by that because it was like the trailer came out and then they're like, oh, it's canceled. And then another trailer came out and it's like coming soon on the CW, but then the CW has been canceling like everything that they have except for Superman and Lois. I'm like, we'll see what happens.
Say Batman and Robin. That's a thing coming too. Yeah. So I'm just like, I am excited. Don't get me wrong. Like we did get some good announcements along with bad announcements. And we're kind of in this kind of limbo of like, we'll see. Yeah. And so the Flash movie, I could see why like people are excited for it. Like the trailer did do justice in a way where it was like, you got the Batmans in there, you got Wonder Woman in there. You had people in there that were kind of like, I would see that movie for those people. Yeah. So it's like, it's like it was something we've talked about a lot too. So I don't know why we wouldn't see it just because of
I'll absolutely seeing it.
So I'd definitely check it out. But overall, like it's a controversial thing. It's interesting. DC is pushing it into its own world, but we'll see what happens in the future, I guess. Yeah. So yeah.
Well, I think Warner Brothers also, in terms of just like what to do with Ezra Miller, and I was kind of thinking about this when the trailer dropped, and then James Gunn said the things he did, and when they fired Johnny Depp, because of his accusations. They got a lot of blowback. And the Fantastic Beasts movies ended up not doing well after he was fired. And Warner Brothers lost money on them.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're kind of using that, but misinterpreting it. So like with the Johnny Depp thing, the trial, like we didn't really know what was going on. There was a trial, but then I think that might end up, I don't know. The main recent trials, like the big ones, Johnny clearly won.
Yes.
But there was one in the UK that sided more with Amber, but then it came out that like her and the judge know each other. So a lot of different things going on. But I think
under
that's the
table
one.
deals.
Yeah. So I think that initial UK one is what Warner Brothers based it on, which is why they fired him.
They did.
So then they're looking at this and they're like, okay, there's all this Ezra Miller stuff, but the only like real trial, like legal stuff we have, he just got that kind of like probation. That's all he got. He didn't get the 26 years.
Right.
So my theory, or not theory, but I guess like my guess as to what they're doing is they are going to not fire him. They're not going to do anything. They're just going to move on with the plan unless something comes out. And if they do, they'll just recast when they need to. That's where I think they're going to go now.
Yeah. No, I think you're right on that. So like, hopefully it is like a spot where we can move past it and kind of see what happens with this DC universe.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, like I said, I'm looking forward to just having consistent actors.
Yeah.
Because we're always switching them out in DC, it seems like. It's always switching out actors, always lawsuits, always just dumb stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, there's always just things that people don't commit. People just don't want to do things anymore. Like, whatever it is. But like, I'm glad, like, hopefully there can be a stable cast,
Yeah.
So yeah, looking forward to that. So moving on from that, we got some Star Wars stuff. So we got, I think I prefaced this last 3 episodes, but like Mandalorian season 3 coming out March 1st. So excited for it. I saw the trailer. The trailer came out, and just really excited for it. Just like going back into that universe again. It's going to be very Mandalorian driven, where it's going to be like, I think a lot of more culture driven, and kind of like you'll see a lot more Mandalorians than like the previous seasons, where it was like Boba Fett, we saw him, but like just like you'll see probably more of Mandalore, where the Mandalorians come from, and sort of like probably the tensions of like Mando and like Cara Dune and all, just like a bunch of things going on. So like I'm excited for that. I'm just like looking forward to seeing what they do with the story, obviously, and Grogu, what Grogu plans to do and stuff. So
they should, if they want to sell the most amount of toys they've ever sold in Funkos, they need to give Grogu a Mandalorian helmet in this season.
Oh yeah, that'd be cute.
That would sell so much merch.
Yeah, I'd buy one.
Like a mini version of what's his name? Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
What's his Mandalorian name though?
Din Djarin.
Yes. Yeah. They should make like a mini one of a replica of his helmet for Grogu.
Yeah.
Disney would never have to put out anything again, and they would just make all their money off of that.
That's what Star Wars is. Star Wars is a lot of the money comes from the merch. That's why George Lucas did so well, is because of the merchandise. He kept the merchandising rights, and that's why he became as big as it was, because it was like, fuck it. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. And then the Bad Batch season 2, I've caught up on that. It's a really, really great show. They're doing a lot of storytelling when it comes to just like building a lot of the story in between episode 3 and 4.
Okay.
Where it's like, did you watch the first season?
No.
Okay.
I plan to at some point.
Okay. But because I was behind on season 2, the past 5 episodes, so I just sat and binge watched the 5, and I was like, okay, I'm finally caught up, and I'm able to kind of talk about it more. So, but David, the Emperor, a little bit of a spoiler, the Emperor makes a return a little bit. You see him in one of the newer episodes or whatever, and he kind of, you see the Senate, and it's great. I really enjoyed it. So they're doing some great storytelling in that, and a little like an episode further than halfway. So there's 16 episodes. Just finished episode 9, and gonna finish it out. So every episode, I think it's every Wednesday or whatever it is that it comes out. So yeah,
sweet,
really good show. Other than that, that's all the Star Wars stuff I got.
So where does that take place in the timeline?
So between episode, it's like season 1 of Bad Batch takes place right after episode 3 or Order 66.
Okay.
And it kind of establishes who the Bad Batch was. You actually see Order 66 in the first episode of the Bad Batch. You get to see that and how the clones play. The Bad Batch are like five of the clones that like are kind of different than the rest of the clones. A lot their inhibitor chips are messed up, but they're like super soldiers almost. They're like they have different talents and they have different abilities and stuff. One's a tech expert, one's a heavy guy. It's like your typical like group.
Yeah.
And you get to learn about them and stuff, and then through season 1, you kind of learn like what they're going through, and you see kind of the Empire taking over. Finally, you see how things are changing in the Star Wars universe. In the second season, you see it a little bit more and more and more until, So I won't spoil too much, but yeah, it's like you see the transition between episode 3 and episode 4. We're not quite there at episode 4 yet, but it's like I would even say like it's before Rebels, that other animated TV series. It's like pretty much right where the Clone Wars TV show and episode 3 end. So
nice.
yeah,
I'll have to check that out at some point.
It's really good. I say like if you don't catch up on the Clone Wars animated series, you will really like just the Bad Batch as a television show.
Sweet.
So yeah,
sweet.
Yep. Other than that, I think that's it for Star Wars stuff. And then our last topic we have is some music.
Yes.
We got a lot of music to talk about. So if you want to start, I can go after you.
Let's see, what do I actually do? You have
I do.
Your list of what you want? I need to look.
Okay, so couple things. So big thing came out last week. Linkin Park released a brand new song with a music video, and it's a brand new old song. I would say it was off of their Meteor album. It's called Lost, and it is probably like it's definitely a standalone song. It was like from what Mike Shinoda said. He said it was mixed, produced, everything was ready to go for it. It was just cut because they needed to keep it at a 12-track album, and it was also it had the same intensity as Numb, and it was like one of those things where it was just like one of those songs on the cutting board list where it was like, do we put it on there? Do we not put it on there? And it was like eventually they just ended up cutting it, but just kind of was like on a hard drive somewhere. Same with there's like 2 other songs. There was one song Mike said that was like he had his verse, he had his verses and stuff, but he didn't have Chester's. But then like one of I forget who it was, one of their managers found Chester's vocals for it on like a hard drive somewhere and showed it to Mike, and Mike's like, oh, and then he was able to put it together.
Oh, that's really cool.
And make it so you'll see that on the Meteora 20th anniversary thing that comes out when they release the album and stuff. It's like 10 tracks or something of all their unreleased stuff that they had for Meteora. I bought the box set. I told you before this started. It comes with a bunch of cool stuff. It's like 5 vinyls or something like that, and bunch of artwork, DVDs that are never before seen stuff, and I'm just totally excited for it. Like live shows from back then and all that. Meteora, I'm gonna go on a little bit of a tangent, but Meteora is my like favorite album, not just for Linkin Park, but like it's one of my favorite albums like ever, just because of the instrumentation, the growth of that band between Hybrid Theory and Meteora, a very mature album for their sound. And it was like the album that kind of established who they were as a band. And it was like they did a lot of things like on the road, because there was like when they were touring, their manager or whatever it was like, should we start working on a second album so we could get some more songs? And then they had like equipment on the bus and did all that stuff. It is a great story how Meteora became what it was. And just like, yeah, Meteora, I would say it's good just because like at the time they're like, that's when Linkin Park TV started. That's when the website started. That's where like a lot of things started with just like, they had things taped, they had things like documented and stuff. So yeah.
So it's kind of like that's the era where they became.
It's like the Halo 2 of Linkin Park, where it was like you got to in Halo 2 they had a lot of like behind the scenes tapes and stuff of like the production process. Linkin Meteora was very much similar to that, so it was like they had a lot of behind the scenes stuff for it.
Cool. So yeah, I'm excited for those unreleased tracks.
Yeah, and like I'm gonna do an unboxing video of my Hybrid Theory one and that one together when I get it. And so it'll be a big video, but I'm excited for that. So everyone check out the song Lost. There's music video for it. It has like the anime. Did you watch it at all? Or
I just listened to the track.
Yeah, it has like an anime inspired thing. It's really cool. Really artsy, almost like Breaking the Habit. It's like Breaking the Habit meets Numb almost for like the style of song, I would say. Really good. Yeah. Another song that came out was All Times Low's. Was it
Modern Love?
Modern Love. Yeah, really good song. I definitely recommend checking that out. And it's very like
Modern Love.
Yeah, it's like a pop punk, I would say, right? Where it's like but it's honestly, I do agree with you. It's one of my favorites that they've released recently. That really good. So really good sound to it. Let's see. Another one was Falling in Reverse's song.
Yeah.
I forget what it's called.
I listened to it recently.
What was it called? Like Watch the World Burn.
Yes.
That's a really great song. I liked Ronnie Rag. He like just like his rap that he experimented with. It was like really good too.
It was like Eminem style.
Yeah, it really was. And I was like, oh man, that's cool. And so I'm trying to think if there are any other songs I've been listening to. I think those are the main three. I've been listening to Lost a lot just because I'm like a Park fan. But yeah. If I think of something else, I'll let you know. But if you got a list,
cool. Yeah. Let's see. What should I start with?
I'll take a look myself, see if there's any more.
So B. Miller put out the song Cynical. Have you listened to her stuff at all?
Yes, I have. B. Miller, yeah.
So she had Lonely Bitch, which was the first song off of, I assume, what this is going to be a EP or an album. And then Cynical dropped. Okay. Really solid track. It has a kind of like alt rock feel to it. Production is not overproduced, but it's like well produced. And yeah, I really like the attitude she has on these tracks. And since she's jumped around kind of with genres, she's done more like the trap stuff. She had, I think, the 2018 kind of like, I don't even know how to describe it, like fight song kind of sounding stuff. And yeah, I'm really excited for this direction she's going in. It has a really cool alt rock sound, which I think fits her the best out of everything she's done, because it kind of lets her do the attitude, but the instrumentation goes with it. Where I feel like with her trap stuff, I really like her vocals, but I don't always think trap fits the aggression that stuff should sometimes have behind it. So I'd recommend that song. Really good. There's also Heartbreak of the Century by Neck Deep, which really, really great, like classic 2010 to present era pop punk song. Neck Deep on this album or set of singles or whatever they're doing, they're really getting back to what I would say are the roots of Neck Deep. And I think since they left Hopeless Records with these past couple of releases, this single and STFU, they really kind of went back to, I would say, their like mid-early sound. And it seems like they're more comfortable in it, both with the lyrics and the overall, I guess, way the songs are shaped. It feels like neck deep. Like I feel like the past album, it still had neck deep feeling elements, but it almost felt like some things were forced. Wasn't a huge fan of the overly poppy production on it. And so far, this song and STFU have been some great tracks. So highly recommend. What is it called again? Heartbreak of the Century. Definitely go check that out. Let's see, what else do we got?
I got one.
Go for it.
So I was browsing the YouTube, browsing the YouTube the other day, and I came across, Doja Cat Say So.
Mm-hmm.
There's a metal version. There's a metal version she did live.
That sounds really cool.
Really good. It kind of flew under the radar because it's not on Spotify. It's only on YouTube. She did it back in 2020.
Mm-hmm.
It was because like her record label told her to play that song all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So she did a metal version of it because she wanted it to sound different.
Yeah.
Really good. I could probably show you it after this live.
Yeah.
But I was blown away when I saw that. I was like, holy shit. Like, now it was really good.
I think she's going to end up putting a rock song.
I really like,
I have a feeling.
She has a voice. She has an amazing voice. But because she's stuck in that, she does like rap, not rap. Was it rap? No, it's like a
I mean, I would say rap is kind of like pop rap.
Yeah. And it's like, but she has a voice, man. Like I was like, because was it Celebrity Skin was another song that I was really impressed by her. Like she really like has the talent to do some like amazing songs. And like when I heard her do that, I was like, wow, she has it, man.
Oh, yeah. She should definitely experiment with that more. And I would say the last bit of music for me, Paramore's new album. Why is it Paramore? Paramore's new album. This Is Why. Have you had a chance to listen to it?
I have not, but I'll listen to it when I leave here.
Such a good album.
Okay. I totally forgot that drop. I forgot Mod Sun dropped. I forgot Paramore dropped. I was kind of out of it for a bit there. So yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, such a good album. I would say it has it's very much kind of the style of music that I've been getting into a lot, which is like alt indie rock kind of combined sounds. And it's not like, I think when a lot of people think of Paramore, they're like, oh, the band that does Misery Business or Ain't It Fun and stuff.
Yeah.
There's elements of those things on this record, but I think this album really kind of stands on its own, and it has such a cool vibe to it where it's very like aware and self-deprecating and taking a look at society, and the sounds of it fit so well. Like especially the indie stuff on songs like Thick Skull, the closing track on the album. Very indie instrumentally, but some of the vocals are like classic Hayley Williams, like earlier Paramore stuff. So it's such a cool mix of like just a lot of what they did before, but putting it through this new lens. And I think a lot of people, when they hear an album, they're like, oh, this is my favorite, or hear a new album. It's like, oh, this is my favorite album by this band. And a lot of times it's because it's new, and then that kind of wears off. But this one, like, I've never been into a Paramore album as much as I am with this one. Like, I think this is definitely my favorite record by them. And yeah, super cool vibes. No skips on the album.
Okay.
Some standouts are Thick Skull, This Is Why, You First, and what's the second to last track on it?
I heard all the singles that they released, like leading up to the album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
so I have to check out the rest of it. How many tracks is it?
10.
10? Okay. I knew it wasn't. I knew.
Crave.
I heard about it. It wasn't like over 10 tracks. It was pretty small. So
yeah, I've been kind of bothered in the past when artists do that, but I actually think this album, they knew what their intention was going in with it, and I think the album as it progresses, it's not like a concept album. At least I don't think it is. But it very much has this kind of narrative and concept that it follows. And then from start to finish, you kind of get this like complete package of what you experienced. And I think if they added other songs, unless they really fit into it in a specific way, it would have taken away from that. So I think this is like the first album with a 10-song track list where I feel like it's a complete body of work and I'm not left being like, oh, I wish they added like 2 more songs to make it 12.
Okay.
Yeah, super great album. Love it. Highly recommend.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I think that's it. Thank you everybody so much for watching. This has been great to be back live with you guys. So looking forward to doing another one next week. And so thank you everybody so much for joining us. This has been the Nerdkave podcast. I'm Miles.
I'm Max.
And we'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.
Have a good one.
I can't find the mouse.
I'll just hold this so we get to the end.
Yay.